Hi, guys, and welcome to Fearlessly Unfiltered, the episode everyone has been waiting for, with my mother with us today. Um, just to give you guys kind of a heads up, because I've had a lot of people message me, like, where have you been? I have been working. I went back to work. I don't enjoy it, but I love my job. It's very great. I went back into healthcare. And so that's where I have been. We have a few more episodes coming up in season one, and then we will start season two. If you're interested in being on the podcast, please don't hesitate to reach out to me and we will get you scheduled. Today, we have my mother with me. Her name is Cindy. A lot of my friends know her as Mom, and she's going to be discussing what it was like to raise me. You guys have heard my side of the story, but now it's time to hear her side of the story. So, everybody, please welcome Cindy. Mom, do you want to
Hello.
introduce yourself?
Hello. I'm mom, basically.
All right. So,
And what lies have you been saying?
well, I don't think they're lies, but it's my perspective. So, growing up, I had a lot of health issues. We were in and out of the hospital. I know I had some behavioral issues when I was younger. I think I was a good teenager, though. Let me just say, I was a lot better than my siblings. And so we're just gonna kind of go.
That's debatable.
We're just gonna kind of go through the process of childhood to adulthood and where I am now. So to start off with, what was it like raising a child who was, frequently sick, needed care? I know we went to the children's hospital sometimes. Um,
Let's back up. So the whole time I was pregnant with you, I was literally on eggshells for the fact that losing your brother.
yes.
After you were born, you were coddled. You were loved a lot. You were hardly ever put down. Um, you were sick a lot as a baby. So that's where it probably started is when you were a baby. You were
Mhm.
sick quite often. I mean, like colds and stuff, yes. Not like you were diagnosed with in high school, but you were very spoiled.
I
So
can
yeah,
attest to that. Um, your
mainly
father
me.
also spoiled me a lot.
Yes, Papa
Papa
spoiled
was a
you
big
more.
enabler with spoiling me. Um, but what
He
was it
was.
like having a sick child and having to go to urgent care or the emergency room or the children's hospital? Like, how did it make you feel as a parent?
Um, I was always tired of you being sick. Time I turned around, you were sick. Whether it's a cold or your normal sickness was not normal. So you didn't get a normal cold. Your cold turned into bronchitis or pneumonia, or you had scarlet fever. Nobody gets scarlet fever anymore but you. If it doesn't exist anymore, you get it. Um, so making all the different trips back and forth to the hospital was frustrating because nobody could diagnose you. First diagnosis was you're sick because you were allergic to mold. Then you're allergic to mold in the Christmas trees. And so we had to switch the Christmas tree to a fake Christmas tree. So just for me, it was just time consuming and
Mhm.
taking the time to take you to the children's hospital. It wasn't until we got to um, Madera's Children's Hospital where Dr. Wright was the actual one to physically diagnose you with your low blood cells.
Did that feel like a relief when there was finally a diagnosis on what was wrong with me?
Well, yeah, 'cause you're that child that we had to stop and you had to puke in the gutter on the way to school.
Yeah.
I still think
Um,
that was because that I think was just because you just didn't want to go to school. Oh, and you
maybe
used to fake being, oh, no, Desiree used to fake being sick.
that is
Mom, I don't
true.
feel good. Mom, I don't feel good. Okay, you can stay home. Oh, 2 hours later, you're running, jumping around on the bed, playing, goofing off when you could have went to school.
I hated school. It was awful.
Go to school, get the phone call. Mom, I need to come home. After a while, when you got sixth grade, it was unless you're running a fever of 102, you stay at school. Did I feel bad for doing that? Yes, but it had to be done.
Well,
I
yeah.
couldn't just be I just couldn't be a friend. I had to be your mom too at the same time. I had to be
Yeah.
mom.
Did it cause any legal issues with the schools in regards to me missing a lot of school, especially in high school?
No, no, you had notes.
Okay. Because I
As
know
long
there's
as
a
you,
lot of kids out there nowadays where parents have a hard time with the school districts because their kids are also sick and they're missing a lot of school in the school district and legal issues pile up. So I was very curious about that one.
things have changed since you've gone to, things have changed since you've gone to school. So
That's
I would have
true.
a note for you. I had to have a note for you, which wasn't a big deal. You kept up with your grades. You were really good about keeping up with your grades. You did better in high school than you did elementary and junior high. I
I
think
think
you
I
finally came out
enjoyed
of
high school a little bit more than I did elementary and junior high.
you came out of your shell a little bit.
Yes, I
You
would
weren't
agree.
so you weren't so clingy.
So, fun fact, guys, when I was in kindergarten, I would cry hysterically because I did not want to leave my mom and go to school. And my teacher, I thought she was mean, but she was doing what she needed to. She would always tell me to knock it off and go sit down. However, she did say that I wasn't going to make it education wise, and I graduated high school and I got my bachelor's and I'm in my master's program. So she can kindly go suck it. So I
You
succeeded.
were that you were that way until you had got Mrs. Horn for a
I
teacher.
loved her. I
Mm,
actually just tried
then not
looking
so
her
much.
up online the other day.
You had detachment issues.
Yes.
You
Um,
do. Well, I still think you have detachment issues.
yes. I have a if you ask my therapist, she would always say you have very unhealthy boundaries with your mom. And
Hmm.
I do think part of that not only stems from being coddled, but growing up, we had a lot of loss as I got older. And
Hmm.
so my biggest fear in life is like losing you and losing dad because I don't think I would know how to properly cope or handle it. And so I will just always be attached to you. Um, that's never going to
I,
change. My
I think
therapist can let it go.
I think if something happened to Dad, yes, you would be upset, but you would be probably devastated if you lost me first. I am the glue that holds you together.
Absolutely. For those of you that don't know, I call my mom like 5, 6 times a day. My mom is literally my best friend. I had a very hard time moving out to Idaho. And then when I moved about 20 minutes away from her, I was still at her house like 3, 4 days a week because I would either drop off Tiberius or I would go visit. And so my mom and I just have that attachment. I will literally tell you she is my best friend. My mom knows almost everything about me, maybe things she probably shouldn't know, but
Probably.
she's my best friend. Looking back, do you think the loss of family shaped who I became or affected our relationship as mother and daughter?
I I think your first loss was your grandfather
Mm-hmm.
on your dad's side, which I think that devastated you the most because you insisted on going to the funeral when your father and I were opposed, but we let you make that decision. We probably should have not let you make that decision right then. I don't think you were old enough to handle it. So I think after that episode with your grandfather just kind of put you more into a depression state. Because
Yeah.
I believe that was your first loss was your grandfather in 2008.
Well, Josh passed away before that, but if you look at family, that was my first close loss in life. And I had nightmares for a long time. I still remember vividly like things. I
Mm-hmm.
still remember the smell of the funeral home. Now, for granted, we spent a lot of time in that funeral home, unfortunately, but that's where our family
Unfortunately,
reunions tended to be. So,
you
uh,
you you tend to internalize things. You
Yeah.
you hold on to things and you don't let them go when
No.
you should let them go, but you don't. And it just festers and then sometimes you get sick because you don't let it go.
Yes. Now, you guys know why I got into psychology and mental health. My mom has her bachelor's in psychology, and I'm very thankful for her because we're also going to talk about, what my mental health was like as an adult. And if it wasn't for my mom, I probably would not be alive. Um, as I got older, obviously, my struggles started to look a little bit different. Um, my mental health drastically got worse. What was it like uh, dealing with my mental health? I know you've had to take times off work. Like, there's been times I was suicidal. I was put on a 5150. How did that make you feel as my parent?
Well, first of all, I was always available when you got out of school because when I worked, I made sure I was home when you or your brother or your sister got home from school. So my job was to stay home with you guys. Uh, your mental health like that really, I don't think started till you turned 18, until after high school. I mean, I know you struggled a little bit, but mainly after you turned 18. I did not catch the point that you were doing drugs at that time. You were mean. You were a bitch. Excuse my language, but you were a. Uh, you would try to go toe to toe with me, which didn't usually always work because Mama doesn't put up with your stuff. Not
No.
like your dad. Your dad's passive. Mom is not passive. Mom is very aggressive.
So am I.
Probably get
I'm just
probably
like
get that.
you.
Probably got it from your grandfather. Raising you, I can't say that I did the best that I could with what I struggle with
Hmm.
my anger issues. Should I've taken a lot of things out on you? Probably not. So that had a lot, I'm sure, to do with your mental health was the way I raised you and yelled at you. I have learned that yelling does not get anywhere. It goes in one ear and out the other, especially when
Hmm.
you're 18 and you think you can do what you want to do and come home when you want to come home and you cannot. Does not work that way. Wait till you have children because I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same. I had a curfew growing up. I had to be home by midnight. You're lucky. Yours was 2.
My curfew was 2 a.m., and sometimes I was late. And if I'm being honest with you guys, I would text my mom and not my dad because my dad was a lot more stricter than my mom. Just I knew my mom would beat my ass. So if
Right
I,
on it.
fun fact, I remember during my party phase, I had gone out with my friends and my phone had died, and we had gone out to a different town. And I walk in at 5 a.m., and my mom goes, "Where the fuck have you been?" Because she had my dog. Um, And I was like, well, my phone died. And I was extremely intoxicated. And she was so mad. She gave me my dog. She shut the door. She didn't talk to me till the next morning. And so she would hold me accountable to my actions and she would try to steer me in the right direction. I just, however, am stubborn like my mother and I don't listen. Till this day, I'm 29 years old and I still don't listen. Um,
No. You ask for advice and go the opposite direction, especially if it's your dad.
I'm
Oh,
working
dad.
on it. Okay.
It,
I'm working on it. Um,
you'll get there, babe. You'll get there. I'm very proud of you though, of all
thank
your
you.
accomplishments that you have done. Your
Well,
books, your schooling. Very proud of you.
I'm getting there. What was the
Takes time.
hardest? It does take time. What was the hardest part about parenting me during my rebellious years?
I want to beat the shit out of you.
Okay, but what was the hardest part?
Your attitude.
I have an
Probably your
attitude
attitude.
just like you.
Yes, you do. Except I think mine's a little bit worse than yours, but no, your attitude. First time you ever went toe to toe was probably high school, but more so after you were 18. You were fine. Well, let's go back a little bit. So when you were little, we'll start when you were little and you used to get
Mhm.
into your sister's stuff all the time. Yeah, that's kind of started there with your sister because you thought, oh, hey, I can get into Sissy's stuff, her makeup, whatever. her clothes and stuff like that. So kind of your attitude kind of started there a little bit, and then
Okay,
you're a
but
little prissy.
she had to play into that because I was like her human baby doll, and she taught me to dance on the table and dressed me in leather clothes. So, in
Britney
all fairness,
Spears.
part of that sassiness came from my sister.
Britney Spears was your
Yes.
genie in a bottle from Christina Aguilera. Ring-a-ling ding-a-ling, everybody, that a 3-year-old is singing. Okay, not knowing the message, but hey, it is what it is. Oh, and her favorite movie was Beetlejuice, not realizing they were all dead.
I didn't realize that till I was an adult.
Mm-hmm. But that
Still
was
a
your
good
favorite
movie.
movie. Which plays into the way you are now with crime series and documentaries on serial killers and watching all the Criminal Mind show. So
Oh,
hey, kind of
obsessed.
shaped you there.
I know. I'm really surprised I didn't go into like criminal justice. I
I,
really thought
I'm
about
su-
it.
I'm surprised you didn't do criminal justice either.
I just don't think I could handle the gruesomeness of it. I can handle it from a TV screen, but not necessarily in person. I have a horrible gag reflex when it comes
Well,
to stuff like that.
there's all different sections to criminal justice. There's
In
sheriff,
all
there's police
fairness, though, I
officers,
did tell
there's
Dad I wanted to work mental health in a prison, and he told me absolutely not. So,
you wanted to do a lot of things. You want to be a marine biologist. That stuck with you for a little bit, and then after the situation with you know who,
mm-hmm.
you started advocating more for mental abuse and stuff like that. So sometimes I think you're a little bold. Shouldn't post things you should be posting, but puts a target on you. But you're very adamant about it, and I'm glad you're adamant about it.
I just think there's so much, and I have a lot to thank you for because I think there's just so much in life that I had been through that it has, and just praying to God a lot. If you didn't raise me in church either, I don't think I'd be where I am. Um, because I know when I advocate for these things, I do have God on my side and I pray for my safety. I pray for whoever I'm advocating for because I know at the end of the day, sometimes these people don't have voices and I'm their only source of a voice. Um, Sometimes I do put on that persona of I'm not scared of you. But sometimes it
Hmm.
does bug me. There's things in life where I'm like, oh, I'll get over it, whatever. For instance, what I was talking about with you earlier when it comes to people in my life, like, oh, it doesn't bug me, it doesn't bug me. But really, it bugs me. And people are like, get over it. And it's not just something you can get over. And so I'm very, very vocal, and I have you to thank for that. But with that voice, I'm allowed to voice my opinion for other people. And I feel like
Clara.
sometimes I was silenced as a kid because Dad was always like, I'm the adult, what I say goes.
Yeah.
And you were always the one that kind of listened to me and helped me learn to advocate for myself. Sometimes I was very bold and very tried to advocate with you and argue with you because I wanted what I wanted. I'm still that way. I want what I want. I'm going to make it happen somehow, some way. So I'm very thankful that I had you being able to teach me how to advocate because not only has it benefited me in the long run, but it's helping benefit other people as well.
Well, going through what I went through before I met your father, it was very easy for me to listen to you because it took me a lot of counseling to get over what I went through. And to
Mm-hmm.
know if I would have known what you were going through, trust me, the boy would have been severely hurt. I do not condone on it whatsoever.
um,
I've been thrown up against a wall. I've had phone cords wrapped around my neck. I've been severely beaten, among other things that I really don't
mhm.
want to discuss. But if
Yeah,
I hadn't have gone through all of that, then I don't know how much sympathy I would have had for you. I mean, I would have had sympathy, but I just don't know how much empathy I would have had. But being the person that I am, I have a lot of empathy for many, many, many people. I also have anger issues with you.
oh, I know. um, how did my substance use affect you as a mom?
I really did not know that you were doing substance use. which for me not to know is very unusual, seeing my ex was into drugs and I
Mhm.
knew when your brother was. I just didn't catch you at the particular moment, but you were very, very bold, got in my face. Like I said, went toe to toe with me. That didn't always work for you, but you'd get mad, you'd go out the door, and you were lucky if I didn't lock your ass out and not let you back in.
Mhm.
Um, I worried every time you went out the door because those were the times when you would tend to wreck your car or something would happen to your car or when you were drinking and you called your sister and I showed up because there was no way in hell I was letting your sister pick you up when I was already mad at you. There, yeah, no, mom's picking you up, so you knew exactly what kind of mood she was in and what you were facing when you got home.
You have that mom look on your face, and that's how I always knew you were mad at me.
Well, mom can be mom and mom can be
Yeah.
nice and mom can be your friend, but there are times when mom has cannot be nice to you
Yes.
and you are
Um,
spoiled rotten, just like today.
I will always be spoiled. Okay, it's never gonna
Yes,
change.
well, your father said this morning that you got him good.
I was very proud of myself. So this morning, guys, I texted my dad and I said, "Do you know what today is?" And he said, "Friday, an anniversary, a birthday." And I was like, "Nope. Let's buy your daughter a coffee day because she's the best thing that's ever happened to you and you love her so much." And he sent me money for a coffee.
Usually, mama,
I thought I was clever.
you
Okay.
were
I did
clever.
so very good on that one.
Usually, it's
Um,
mom. Mom's usually buys the coffee.
I think when it comes to the substance use, I did not my even till this day, I do not like disappointing you and dad. That is my biggest fear in life is hearing you or dad say I'm disappointed in you. And so I think when it came to the substance use, I had to become creative ways to be uh
Mm-hmm.
sober, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
I would hide it in my bag. I would talk about having allergies because my nose was always stuffy. I'd hang out late with my friends and sober up before I came home. Like,
Because
there's so,
you knew what would happen if you got caught.
yes. If I got caught, I would not have a place to live. I would have a lot of relationships to rebuild, which I did because when I got in that relationship with my abuser and then I started using drugs within that relationship and then I continued to use drugs after, I used it as a coping skill, but then it became addictive. And so that's why now I'm very, and I'm thankful for you, and I'm really thankful for Alec when it comes to it because, like, when I have surgery and stuff, I do have an addictive personality. And so having you ask me about my medications and having him put them up and just having that support from the both of you is very beneficial and it helps keep me on track as an adult because I'm pretty sure when you start getting addicted to things you don't care who you hurt around you. And that was my
Mm,
biggest thing was I knew I was hurting you, I knew I was hurting dad, I knew I was hurting some other friendships because I didn't want to hang out with them because they weren't doing drugs. I wanted to go party, I wanted to get high, and they just don't want to have fun. And so it just wasn't my thing. And so after I got sober, I had to rebuild all those relationships. But you,
Well, while you were doing your drugs, you were more detached from me than you were attached. Because before all this, if I was going somewhere, you were in the car. You didn't even ask. Your ass was in the car. Oh, let's go. Whether it was the grocery store, go get coffee, go shopping. Desiree was always in the car. I want to go. And Desiree's still that way. I want to
yes,
go. Can I go? So, I don't care that you go. Um, and just so y'all know, she throws stuff in my basket.
I'm
Someone
29
can
and
pay
they
for
just
it.
came to
Mm-hmm.
Idaho and I threw stuff in her basket and I went with
Yeah,
her and my dad.
she's still that way.
Yes.
That's okay. Kids will be kids.
I will never
So,
grow
yeah.
up. I'm really excited though to eventually um have my own kids because I'm really excited to watch you and dad be grandparents. Not excited for you to tell them how I acted as a child, but um,
And so you know this, my job was to raise you, just like your job is to raise your child, your brother's job is to raise his child. My job is to let them do whatever they want. That's my job. Let's just spoil them.
well,
Mm.
I already know when I get pregnant, my kid is already loved. So I'm very thankful for that because
I'll be
a
spoiled.
lot of kids, and I'm very blessed in this way, a lot of kids do not have as close relationships with their parents as I do. And it makes me really sad. But I love watching Bubba and his kids and how close they are as a family, and knowing that generations it'll be passed down of that closeness, because a lot of kids miss out on things because they're not close to their parents, or their parents were addicts, or their parents are very toxic and they don't talk to each other. And so I'm very, very blessed and thankful for the relationship I have with you and dad. Um,
Growing up with Nan and Papa, we would always have family get-togethers. It was your great grandfather and your great grandmother and your great grandfather. We'd go to their house all the time. Not so much on your Papa side.
mhm.
Didn't really communicate with them too much, other than Grandma Joel, because your great grandfather on your dad's side, he was kind of mean. Didn't appreciate anything. He was never happy. And then so when I met your dad, we tried to combine both families together for family get-togethers, and so
Mhm.
that's how we raised all of you, is to be close knit. So if and to help one another, families there for each other no matter what
Now, when
circumstances.
if you look at it from our, because this was high school, when
Mhm.
Papa passed away, and I can't think back this far, I just know I was devastated. How do you think that shaped the path I went down as an adult?
Yes,
Do you think if he wouldn't have passed away, I would have actually gone into the military or stayed in
probably,
school? How do you
probably.
think, how do you think it
Your
shaped?
grandfather was the one to boost your spirits. He was always there for you to talk to you. But I know you wanted to go in the military, but I also knew with your mental health, you would not have made it. You would not have passed the psych evaluation. You could have passed boot camp, but you wouldn't pass the psych evaluation, because as soon as the sergeant yelled at you, yeah, you'd be crying. Poor thing. That's where you would be.
You're not
You
wrong.
just You probably could have done it if you would have mentally prepared yourself for it, even after Papa died, but your Papa was your go-to. He was, let me go talk to Papa, let Papa help me. Did it irritate me? Yes, but I never kept them from you, ever. I never kept you from your grandparents whatsoever.
Papa spoiled me because I will never
I'm
forget the
aware.
times he got mad at me. But there's one time I remember I wanted two toys from Walmart, and he didn't have enough money to buy both, and I only got one, and then I was really sad about it. So then he went back the next day and bought me the other one. Also,
Mhm.
he is the reason that I drink coffee every morning, because him and I
Do
used
you
to
want
go
me
to
to
coffee.
switch that story around a little bit?
Well, that's how I remember it. How do you remember it?
Hmm. So what you did, yes, Papa bought you your toy, but you also hid in the clothing rack.
Oh yeah.
You scared the shit out of your grandfather, and that was the first spanking you ever got. And because that was your first spanking, your papa felt so bad. He went back to Walmart the next day to go get another toy, which didn't teach you a lesson. So yes, you were spoiled.
Well, yeah.
And that is your only spanking that you ever got from him, ever. You
He
might
used
have
to
got
raise
a
his
time.
voice at me though.
Hmm?
And that scared me. And I think that's why it scares me when dad raises his voice, because dad doesn't yell and Papa never yelled either.
There.
Um,
So your dad is passive. Unless you piss him off, then he ain't passive anymore. And then he'll either not talk to you for days and do the I'm not talking mental abuse thing to you, or he will raise his voice. You get one or the other. You don't get both. You know,
mm,
Papa, Papa was, um, Papa didn't put up with anybody's crap,
Mm-hmm.
but he also took care of it without, kind of like your dad, without yelling or screaming or anything. If he had to raise his voice, it was for a reason. Now, growing up, I think I got two spankings my whole life, but he was the one that taught me how to do everything: ride a bike, roller skate, drive. He taught me
Mm-hmm.
everything. Nana didn't teach me much. Even though she stayed home with me, it was Papa that did everything, pretty much. Taught me how to braid, because when you fish, you have to
Mm-hmm.
braid the I want to call it the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned a lot, and I can name every tree in the valley.
I can't. He tried to teach me. That didn't stick. I can do
I'm
woodwork
sure if you
though.
see certain ones, you'd know what they are. You know what an almond tree looks like. You know what a walnut tree looks
Well,
like.
yeah, I was raised in the Central Valley and I had horrible allergies. But I think too, growing up, you were more of my safe space just because I was scared to talk to dad. And I don't know why, because now as an adult, I talk to him about everything. Do I get annoyed when he defends people that I
Hmm.
don't think he should defend? Absolutely. However, the older I get, the more I realize that you guys were right and I should have listened to you guys to begin with. But I always tell people you got to learn on your own.
You do.
And so,
Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom and pull yourself up.
most definitely.
Look at your
Um,
brother. Your brother hit
speaking,
rock bottom, pulled himself up, and he's awesome. And I'm very proud of your brother. Very
I'm
proud of
very
what he's
proud of my
accomplished
brother
in his
too. Because you had to parent, two kids that I
three.
wouldn't, well, I was going to say two kids that have substance use. Um, Leanne had an attitude problem, but
I did not have that much problems with your sister in high school or when she was growing up. You're still
I'm
your
still going to live in the
brother.
narrative that I was the best one and well behaved in high school, okay? I'm going
Your
to,
your sister had a few mishaps, but not like you and not like your brother. Now your brother and I butted heads all the time. Him
we
like
both
me.
had anger issues.
Well, look at what he was doing. Look what he had. Look what him and your sister went through
Yeah, I know.
before we got custody. Him like me. He hated me with passion, and it took him to realize once he got with Alice. I think it took him to realize exactly what it's like to be a step parent.
Yes, it's not easy.
And so he's always like, why did you stick with me? Well, because I love you. You're my son. I'm not
Hmm.
going to abandon you because you went down the rabbit hole somewhere. I'm
I
not going
mean,
to do that. That's not me.
I feel like as a parent, as much as you're disappointed with your kids, you personally have not left our sides. You have yelled at us, you have lectured us, you've gotten mad at us, but you and dad have never left our sides ever.
And I lecture the grandkids too.
Well, yeah.
I'm not
Um
going to leave them out.
what do you wish parents understood about loving a child through addiction, mental health struggles, or self-destructive choices?
Takes patience. Takes a lot of patience. I've learned that. And yelling doesn't do any good. It just provokes their attitude even more. Between you and, yes, your brother, my yelling and that just provoked it even worse. You didn't listen to me. Take time out, listen to your kids, listen to what they need, what they want. Sometimes parents overlook that, so it's a big step that you have to take. And
And
if
go
I
ahead.
wouldn't have gone through some of the psychology classes that I went through, um, probably some of this stuff would be irrelevant for me. Going through psychology classes and learning different things, I've learned a lot. And going back to school when you were in junior high, because decided that's what I wanted to do. So raising all three of you, going to school full time, working part time, I did my best.
I think you did a very good job.
I did my best.
I think that's all we can ask from our parents growing up is that they do their best because we also have to give our parents grace. And for those of you listening and watching, give your parents grace because this is their first life too. And not everyone is cut out to be a parent. It is all a learning experience for everyone. It's your first time having a kid. If you have another kid, it's your
Mhm.
first time having two kids. And so you just got to give your parents some grace. Wait.
So when you were born, your father already had two kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't listen to your dad. So if you had a smidge little boo boo, yeah, we went to ER to have the little boo boo fixed. Your dad got so irritated with me, but I, as a first time parent, your dad wasn't. I didn't listen to your dad. I probably should have listened to your dad. You probably wouldn't go to the ER all the time or urgent care every time you think that you have a boo boo or stuffed up
I
nose.
don't anymore. I just have health issues that
Yes, you do.
sucked. And
Yeah,
see,
but beforehand, no.
I think too, I have that mentality dad has. Like when the little ones get hurt, I'm all like, is it
Mhm.
broken? No. I was like, walk it off. It's okay. Um, unless they're like gushing blood, then I start panicking because I'm like, I
Well,
don't
let's
know what to
just
do.
let's just hope they don't sprain their thumb while they're texting.
I had a lot of odd injuries.
Sprained your thumb.
I'm pretty sure there's carpal tunnel in my hand from texting so much, but
Also typing. You can get carpal tunnel from typing.
I
So
type
if you
like
type a
this.
lot, if you type a lot. So
Um,
yeah.
when it comes to being in my abusive relationship and then jumping from all these people, what was it like watching me stay in relationships that you knew were unhealthy?
Not great, but you can't say anything because you ain't gonna listen. You
You are
you
correct.
have you have that vibe that when you meet someone, they're either a good person or they're a bad person. Whether you tell your daughter or your son, which I told your brother, one of them I did not like. No, two of them I did not like. Two. Anyway, so you have that gut feeling that they're a bad person. It doesn't matter if you tell that person, they're not going to listen to you. You have to learn on your own. But with your abusive or your drug addiction boyfriends, even though they were nice, some of them were nice, you still had that feeling, but you still had to pray and hope that you would realize it and move on to someone else. You've gone through a lot. You've had a lot of bad relationships. You've had a lot of good relationships. I'm not one of those for internet dating because that wasn't a thing when I was growing up. You either went to the bar or you met them at work or you met them at school or something.
That
That
didn't
just
go
won't.
well for me the first time because my first
But
actual relationship, we met in person.
well, right. But after that, yeah, we won't go there.
Well,
Okay, so a couple of them you knew, but then there were a few that you met
most of
through
them were drug
internet.
addicts.
But now you're happy. Um, I love Alec. Alec is Alec, bougie man.
I,
And you know he's more bougie than you.
well, yeah.
I'm just saying. You are the princess. You are expensive, not gonna lie. You are an expensive child.
Hmm.
Um, so is your sister, but you top the cake. Plus you're spoiled, so whatever Desiree wants, she can usually talk mom or dad into getting. Just depends on what it is.
Hmm.
But you just have to pray that they realize what kind of relationship they're in and move on. And I do understand being the relationship that I was in before your father because I went from one to the other.
Hmm.
I didn't love your dad in the beginning. He was my safe haven at that time when I was in the
Hmm.
process of transferring, and I fell in love with your dad, and I had complications, and I had you. But it's always a flight. It's always a I hope they realize, and getting out of an abusive relationship is not easy. It's one of those
No.
things that you either have to wait for them to be in jail to leave and hope they don't find you, or mine, he was went to jail and I divorced him, and I looked over my shoulder even with you until the day that he died. The day that he died, all my nightmares went away, everything went away. I didn't have to look over my shoulder anymore.
And I think it's crazy because if you think about it, both of your daughters have been through abusive relationships, but it
Hmm.
was so hard to tell until something was said. And to be able to have on my end, because I'm not going to speak for my sister, but knowing your story and being able to know my mom will understand me was such a relief at the time because I guess you could say I didn't know I was in an abusive relationship at the time until I got out, but being able to talk about it when I got out and having a safe haven to talk to it about that I knew probably would get on to me, but also understand where I'm coming from was very beneficial because it also helped with my healing journey, knowing that I was in a home that understood what I just went through. But my problem was I kept jumping from bad relationship to bad relationship, and it felt weird getting with Alec because he's the polar opposite of everyone I have ever dated.
Opposites
Um,
attract. Look at your dad and I. Opposites attract.
and I mean, every relationship has their complications, there's arguments, and
Now I
it's
will tell, and
weird.
I'm going to tell you something. You are in the process of getting married. You're gonna have fights. You're not gonna get along. Your dad and I have been together 33 years, married 33 this year, and been together 35 years. Has it been easy? Absolutely not. You
No.
have your ups, you have your downs. Never go to bed mad, ever, because then you can't sleep anyway, and you just toss and turn and fester all night. So your dad and I are two opposite people, although your dad tends to give me what I want.
Alec doesn't give in to me anymore,
Your dad,
and I think that's what irritates me the most
um, no.
because he's very good at putting me in my place. And I think I went from you putting me in my place to him putting me in my place. And he has a lot of dad's characteristic traits, which I think is really weird. Um, but we are so polar opposites, but it works. And I know when we have kids, my kids are gonna have a good dad. My kids have good grandparents. My kids have good auntie and uncle. Lots of aunties actually. Um,
Hmm.
only two uncles because I have my brother and my best friend. But, I know that even though I went through trauma and I put you through hell, we have been able to build our relationship. Some would say it's unhealthy. I don't care. You're my best friend. I've had other parents of people tell me, like, you're really close to your mom. Well, yeah, my mom saved my
Okay,
life.
look at Aunt Sylvia. Aunt Sylvia is very close to her mom.
Well, yeah. And I think, too, there's that little bit of trauma that bonded me to you as a kid. But also, you were the only person that was there for me when I was going through every ounce of trauma from my sexual assault to my mental health to my abusive relationships to my horrible decisions that got me in trouble to my toxic workplace environments. The consistent person in my life was you. Whether that you think that's your role as a mom, I see it as a role of, you were my best friend, you were my protector, you are my guardian angel. I thank God for you every day. Even when I don't know how to do things, it's like, Mom, how do I do this? Mom, is this safe? Like, Mom, should I go to the emergency room? Like,
And what is different between you and I is me growing up, I was a daddy's girl. I kind of like you when you went to Papa for whatever you needed. That was me. I went to Papa for everything. I was with Grandpa all the time. We go to the store, we go to Harbor Freight, yay, or we go look at tools. But I think it's because Nana didn't want to go personally. But Papa would be like, "Let's go," and I'd be like, "Where are we going?" He wouldn't tell me until we got on the truck. But I, like you, being with me all the time. I was with my dad all the time. My dad was my let me go to talk to person, opposed to my mom. Now my mom is more, how do I put it? More not strict, but she wasn't
she's
raised that way. She
quiet.
was raised
She's
very
quiet.
quiet. She was, yeah, well, she was 16. She didn't know any a whole lot. Papa had to teach her almost everything, that she knows. So
Yeah.
for me, it was Papa. For you, it's me.
And I
So
think, too, growing up, like, I'd go to lunch with Nana and Papa on Sundays after
Mm-hmm.
church.
Mm-hmm.
Papa would make Nana call you to ask me if I could spend the night. And I hated
Yeah,
spending the
because
night places. I really did. If it was more than 2 nights at their house, I wanted to go home. And it
I
wasn't
made you
anything
go.
against them. I mean,
I
it
made
wasn't
you go.
anything against them. I enjoyed my time. I was always
No,
with
but
Papa there.
but even though you didn't want to go, I made you go
Well, yeah,
because
I was a homebody as a
because
kid.
because I knew that in life, once you lose your grandparents, they ain't coming back.
And I think that's where I
You
struggled
didn't
too as a kid because I
you
didn't get to spend a lot of time with Grandma and Grandpa Nason. It was always Nana and Papa.
okay, so that was my fault that you didn't spend a lot of time with Nana with your grandparents. You had a lot of health issues. You had asthma. Both your grandparents smoked, and their house was full of smoke. And so, between your dad and I's conversation, you could stay all day. We didn't care if you stayed there all day. I just never let you stay the night. I
I
let you stay
feel
the day.
like,
Papa used to watch you all the time. Grandpa Nathan used to watch you all the time. And living next door, you were always over there until
and
one
I
day when I
have memories of Grandma and Grandpa living next door because I remember
yeah,
you caught the kitchen on fire.
yep. I also pissed you off one day when I shut the door and told you you weren't going over there and you threw a fit. I don't have the picture. I would show it, but oh
That's
yeah,
actually going to be the
that
picture I use for the cover. So, people,
that
when you see
is
the cover
that
photo,
is that is unfortunately that is my favorite photo. I have another one of you mopping the floor. That's my other favorite photo. I got a lot of favorite photos, but they're not all the ones that are, staged and pretty from the photography. They are
mhm.
you being mad or you being upset or you, just you.
Well, I had a tractor as a kid. I was a tomboy as a kid because of Papa. And when I got
Mm-hmm.
in high school, I was a little bit more girly.
Mm-hmm.
However, fun fact, guys, I hit my mom's car with my
Yeah,
tractor.
yes, you did.
It was in the way. She
Anyway,
should have parked somewhere
and
else.
I
That's her fault.
and I knew you hit my car because it had green paint on it.
I got a new
Oh,
tractor after that,
you used
though.
to do lots of stuff. So probably I shouldn't show you this, but when you were little, you would take a shower, and I
Hmm.
couldn't figure out what these little round discs were on
Oh,
the shower
God.
door. And your dad would be like, "Well, where's Desiree? Oh, she's in the shower." And he goes, "You're not watching her?" "No, she's taking a shower. What do I need to watch her for?" And so I come out and I'm like, "Where do these little round discs come from?" And I couldn't figure out what they were for nothing. So then I put two and two together. You would go in the bathroom, and at the time they were the little Tux round discs. You take them out of the little container and you just slap them onto the shower door.
As an adult,
Like
I still draw on the shower door.
oh, you've done a lot of weird things. And that, or your dad would come home from work and you would be in your room. I knew if you were quiet, you were into something.
Uh-huh.
Your dad would be like, "Where's Desiree?" "Oh, she's in her room." "Well, you're not watching her?" "No, she's in her room. I can hear her." I said, "The only thing I got to worry about is if she's quiet." And most of the time, you were in your sister's room, so I really didn't have to worry about it most of the time because you were in your sister's room.
Well,
Your
just so
your
everyone
relationship with
knows,
your brother was different.
I was left unsupervised and I electrocuted myself, okay? And then at one point, mom left the oven door down and I put my
Oh,
hands on it as a kid and I was traumatized from the oven for a while. I refused to
you
cook in an
know,
oven.
I don't know. I just ran across that picture the other day where your hands were all bandaged up from
And it
the
wasn't
oven.
mom's fault. She turned around to take food out and I was like, ooh, door, and put my hands on it and burnt myself. She had to take
You
me to the
were
emergency room. Or the time
you
mom
were
had to
two.
rush me to the emergency room because I was dancing on a chair with a disco light and
Uh,
fell and busted. I still have a scar. I busted my head on the corner of my sister's dresser.
yeah, your dad didn't think that was necessary.
Well, head wounds bleed. Okay, I would have freaked out too. So,
Well, like I said, first parenting, not for him, for me.
I think I was a very
You were
fun
a good
child.
child. You were good.
I'm still
You had
pretty
your mom.
outgoing. I lost my spark for a minute, but I found it
You
again.
you you were a good child. You did go through trauma with, deaths. We had I don't know how many in a row. like
At least
every year and
5.
a half, and so,
Mhm.
but it is what it is. You just, once you lose somebody, the grief never goes away.
No.
You will find little things that will bring back your memory, and you can cry. It's okay, but it's never going to go away.
Like I
Are they
heard
rejoicing?
this.
Probably they're not in pain anymore, and that's a good thing. And yes, you were very mad at me when I called it for Papa and I didn't resuscitate him. There was a reason for it, and you were
Yes.
mad at me for the longest time, but I think now you finally probably realize the reason I did what I did.
Well, yeah. And I also know now too, like even more realization in the past few weeks, because that's something I've talked about before on the podcast and with other people and my therapist was I was very upset that you guys turned him into a DNR. I was young, so I didn't understand
No.
that the amount of pain a person goes through with cancer and being resuscitated because you can break bones. Like you can hurt someone with resuscitation. And that man was already so fragile. And so now that I work in a hospital now and I work in the emergency room and I'm able to see why you did what you did. And it took a lot for me to go through that forgiving phase. And I think I just had to realize why you did what you did. And growing up now, I see a lot of reasons why you did what you did with me, and it makes a lot of sense. Um, so I've worked through that. I was very upset at first, but
Well,
I got over it.
there's 7 stages to grief. Your 7 stages just took a little bit longer than normal,
I
which was
think
okay.
too, I didn't know how to grieve. Like, yeah, you were going to school to be a grief counselor, but I had no idea how to grieve. We went through grief share when Papa passed away, but I didn't know how to
Hmm.
grieve Grandpa. I didn't know how to grieve Aunt Marmar. Uncle Bud, we lost Aunt Marlene. We
Yeah,
lost
Wendy.
Boyd, Yvonne, Aunt Wendy. Like,
Hmm.
I just held it all in. I'm like, oh, they're gone. I'm sad. What do I do with this feeling? And I just pushed it down. So it took me
A
a
long time.
while and lots of therapy to go through my trauma, especially the grief phases, because I just didn't know how to do it. And I think that also affected my attitude as an adult because I had
Yeah,
all these emotions stuck inside of me and I didn't want to deal with them. So I turned to drugs and alcohol because it numbed it. I didn't have to feel it. And then I started going to therapy and I was like, oh, Desiree, let's get our shit together. So, and you
very
made sure I went to therapy,
that's it.
even when I didn't want to go. Mom made me
Nope.
get in the car and go to therapy.
Yep.
Um,
Look at you now.
I know. I'm in school to be
I
a
even
therapist.
I even I even went off work when you were going through your um suicidal stage. I took
Yes, I was
I
an
took time
adult.
off work. I took time off
I
work
was very, very suicidal.
to make sure nothing happened to you, because I'll tell you right now, if something ever happened to you, I would probably go down a rabbit hole.
I'm sure. I think my fate, well, I was not pleased that I was suicidal, but I learned who my people were. But my favorite part was I stayed home with mom because I wasn't allowed to drive or go anywhere because they were adjusting meds and I had therapy. Mom would play phase 10 with me. So now I'm addicted to that game. So every time my mom comes to visit Idaho, we have to play phase 10. And I always lose.
Mom beats her.
I won last time, ma'am, twice.
Yeah,
So
she has beat me twice. Most of the time, it's me.
twice out of like a million times. It's okay. I'm gonna take my win.
She's learning.
I'm gonna take my win. Um, just a
You
few more
take your win.
questions to
I
go
take my
through.
win with your dad.
I don't play games with dad. He always wins.
Oh no, throughout the year, if I'm right twice, I'll take the win. It's all good.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Um, looking back from my childhood to my adolescence to my adulthood, what do you wish I had understood during those years?
Mm, That's a hard question because you went through different phases. That's a really hard question for me to answer because you go through different phases, and through the different phases of your life, then you have to learn on your own. You have to learn, you literally have to make mistakes to learn from your mistakes. I just didn't let you fall very far
No,
before I
I'm
would pick you
thankful.
up. It's probably why you are the way you are today, but
I'm a pretty good person.
nothing really until probably high school and adulthood, you know, your choice of dates or your, in junior high, probably your choice of friends or you can't pick, your parents can't pick your friends and your parents can't pick who you marry. You can't, just like you can't pick your parents or your siblings. You're kind of
Well,
stuck with. We won't go there. Uh, I just wish you would have listened
yeah.
mainly. You went through your I'm not going to listen phase once you hit junior high and you were a teenager, and every teenager goes through it. It's nothing unusual. My rebellious stage was probably 16 after I got my driver's license, which I didn't have to worry about you because you refused to get your driver's license. I had to
That's because
make
my
you.
sister traumatized me and got me in a car accident. I did not want to drive.
I had to make you drive because I wasn't driving you to school and work.
Well, I graduated high school, guys, and I still didn't have my license. So my mom made me get my license because she was not driving me to junior college. But then I
Or
realized I
work.
could drive, okay? And then I met my abuser, and then I got in a relationship, and I dropped out of school, and I drove everywhere. So,
Oh, and her dad told her not to buy a certain car, and she bought it anyway. She got rid of a car to get a car, which she ended up getting rid of
we
because it was
learned
too
from
big.
our mistakes, Mom.
That's right. See, that's why I said you have to learn from your
What
mistakes.
what was it
Fall, you
like?
get up and go again.
What was it like practically raising me and Lexi in high school and junior high? She was with us in junior high too.
She was with us all the time. She
Yeah.
practically lived. She practically lived at our house because you're that child that you would go to their house, but you ain't staying the night. You're gonna come home that night. So for me, I was never without a child ever, ever. Your brother and sister would be gone, you'd be home. You'd be gone to Nana's, and then your brother or sister would be home. I like never had no kid time ever, ever,
But
ever.
was it hard for you because we both fought a lot and we had attitude problems?
You guys didn't fight too much. You might think you did, but you guys didn't fight too much. You might have had a misunderstanding, and most of your misunderstandings were usually boys,
Well,
guys.
there was a phase, okay? I remember
Hmm.
one time dad grounded us because he said we could go to the park, but we had to be back by a certain time. But then she
You
took
weren't
off with
back.
someone, and I never came back because I was still at the park waiting for her to come back. Because how do you come home and be like, she took off? And then we both got grounded.
Hmm.
So dumb.
You guys are like sisters,
Yeah.
so it's
We've,
okay.
we've been through it. Um, when you look at me today, what are you most proud of?
Your accomplishments, all the stuff that you have gone through, and all your accomplishments that you have done. You went back to school. You are working for your masters. You've written books. You've pulled yourself up, dusted off. Very proud of you. So I'm
I,
very proud of
I
all your
think
accomplishments.
I
They
think part of
might
that.
be they're little steps for you,
Mhm.
but I'm very proud of your
I
accomplishment.
I think part of that too comes from as I get older. I like I said earlier, I have that fear of disappointing you and dad, and I want to be that child that succeeds, but I also have that little voice in my head that tells me that I also need to make Papa proud because there has been times in life where I'm like, this man would kick my ass. Okay. And so I always sit there and I'm like, I wonder if Papa's proud. And so that kind of pushes me through. And I wouldn't have gone through school if it wasn't for you because I had quite a few meltdowns when it came
I
to
will
psychology.
I will tell you something. All your poems, all your letters and everything, your grandpa, your papa would take them to everybody. to boy, wherever he was going, he was so proud of your writing and your little tiny book, and he bragged on you all the time, especially your writing. He never understood why you didn't want to become a writer. But, sometimes your passion for something, you don't want to make a career out of it because then it's not fun anymore.
No, because I am working on a second book, and it was supposed to be released in January, and here we are in June. And I got so stressed because I was like, I gotta get this book out. And so it just wasn't fun writing the second book. So I took a break for a minute, and then, I started my master's program, and I found the time to write here and there. And I enjoy it when I find that time to write. I think if I would
Mm-hmm.
have made a career and had like all these deadlines, I wouldn't enjoy it.
Hmm.
It would not be for me. Um,
You are a very good writer.
Thank you. And then just a bonus question. During the times when I was making choices that hurt myself and our relationship, what made you keep believing in me, and why didn't you give up?
Because you're my daughter. And I love you.
Oh, I love
And you
you.
never give up. And you never give up on your children. Ever. You always want better for your children. You always. Just like you. When you have kids, you're going to want them to do better than you.
Oh,
Always.
absolutely. I hope I'm as good as a mom as you were. That is my biggest fear, is I'm going to be a terrible mom.
No, you're going to learn. You're going to learn along the way, along with the new person is parenting. Learn along the way.
Alec and I have two different parenting styles, let me tell you.
Well, so did your dad and I. Except for I never let your dad correct you very often because he was mean.
He was mean. Maybe I was just sensitive. Alec tells me I'm sensitive all the time.
You are. You're a sensitive person, and Nana's a sensitive person. I can be. I'm more aggressive than I am sensitive, but I can be very sensitive.
I am an aggressive person, and I'm working on it, but I'm pretty aggressive.
You're not too bad.
I think it's when you really, really piss me off, I become very aggressive and mean, and
How
I'm going
does
to
that
leave
work
it
for you?
there before I open my mouth and start ranting about people, but
And how does that work for you when you get mad at your mother?
oh, it doesn't. I just have to get over it. But I think is if I look back now, we would get in arguments. But I think as I get older, I'm able to be like, "Hey mom, like look at it this way." Um
Mm-hmm.
and when I'm upset, like we're able to have those conversations. It's not we're going to kill each other, and we know
Here's
if we
the
have to
thing.
take a step back, we can.
Here's the thing with our relationship. I never went anywhere. You're the one that pulled the distance, and you're the one that put the distance back.
Mhm.
And that, as a parent, you have to let your child do as they're going to do. They will come back to you eventually when they're ready.
Unless you're a shitty parent, they're not coming back.
Well, that's true. Well, but think about it. You have people who have gone through trauma with their parents, but yet still long for a relationship with a parent.
I wouldn't say just parents
If
though.
if
Like,
if you have to know you know who I'm talking about.
yes,
That person longs to have a relationship that goes for a little bit and then dissipates.
yes.
You
I
know,
think
and
we all
it
have
hurt.
that same problem.
And being a parent like that and seeing it, it hurts. It
I
really
think
does.
for
It
I
hurts.
think for me, watching it affect my parents though, and I'm not going to say names. If you know, you know. I think watching it from afar, and I'm not going to speak on my brother's behalf, but it hurts because we're not there. Bubba and I are 12 hours away, okay? But to just watch it from a distance, it is so heartbreaking because that person has also isolated themselves from family. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Everyone's like, get over it, get over it. Like, it's their choice. Well, yeah, it's their choice, but I
Yeah.
have every right to be hurt because I once had a relationship with this person and now I
Mhm.
don't. And we don't have anything to do with each other. I pictured this person as my bridesmaid at my wedding. they're not even in my wedding, let alone maybe not even coming. And so
They'll come around.
it hurts. But then you have to accept the fact they might not ever come around. And I think that's what pains me watching it happen to my parents, because you've made comments, dad has made comments, and it's just so heartbreaking knowing that there's that person, but that relationship is so broken when it shouldn't be. Because I'm a believer that everyone, if you can, should have a relationship with your parents, because one day they're not going to be here.
Mhm.
And so, but we had quite a few confessions come in this time around. And I picked 3 of them that I thought were interesting that were related to mother daughter. So the first confession is, my daughter doesn't know I gave her the same childhood I swore I'd never repeat. I've always said I'd never yell, guilt trip, or control my kid the way my mom did. Now my daughter is 17 and I hear my mom's voice come out of my own mouth. She thinks I'm just strict. I know I'm repeating the cycle and I don't know how to stop. Do you have any advice for that mom?
Um, so I'm a lot like Nana. Your traits. I was raised different. So your grandfather didn't raise me like his father raised him. His father was mean and took things and stuff. And so you just really have to repent. I mean, you're gonna go down that road. You can change at any time. A person, if they want to change, they can change. Even if they're 17, that can change. I used to yell at you all the time. I
We
don't
did.
yell. I don't yell as much. I don't know if it's because of the medication, but I don't
No,
yell at
you
you
just
as much.
say Desiree
I just,
Laverne.
yes, that's all I have to say. It's, you know, parents make mistakes, and it's okay to make a mistake, and it's okay that you weren't going to do that, but there are traits that will come out. Just forgive yourself. Try again. Just get up, try again. I'm sure at some point that child that's 17 will understand later in life. Who's not to say that that child will have the same traits growing up? Your DNA is passed on. It doesn't matter.
Well
It's up
said.
to you. It's up to you to make that change.
The next one this one kind of hurt because a lot of people know where I stand on parents. But it says, I love my mom, but I don't actually like her. People assume we're best friends because we smile in every family photo. The truth is, I only talk to her because she's my mom. If we weren't related, we would never be friends. I carry so much guilt over that.
Well, we've got to find out why she doesn't like her mom that much. Okay, so Nana and I, we have a relationship. It's not as close as Papa and I. Um, I think, even though we love each other, we kind of tolerate each other. You just, your mother's not going to be there forever. You just have to kind of deal
No.
with it.
And I mean,
I I kind of know where she's coming from.
I know a lot of people that are not close to their moms at all. And it's understandable because, some of those people are either addicts or they're abusive. So that is completely understandable. So I guess what I
Mhm.
have to say, to this person is, if they are harming you in any way, don't carry that guilt because you're putting yourself first. Um,
Mhm.
but I want to thank you for speaking out on it, because I know that saying something like that is not easy. And
No,
give yourself some grace to navigate that situation. Um,
not all family members are family. You
no,
choose. For me, it's you choose who your family is. For me, like Aunt Sylvia, she's my sister.
she's my aunt.
Plain and simple. Been
Yep.
friends for 53 years. Been there for one another all the time. Not having, you have siblings. I didn't have siblings. So, like, Jerry is like a brother to me, and Aunt Sylvia is like a sister. So, that's my brother, and that's my sister.
I mean, Lexi's like my sister. I mean, we bicker
Hmm.
like sisters too. And
And
so,
you will go through ups and you will go through downs. And so, it happens.
yeah,
You just choose who you want your family to be.
I agree. Last confession that I picked. This just brings back my childhood sometimes. My mom chose my sister over me every single time. Growing up, my sister could do no wrong. I was always the difficult one, even when I wasn't. We're adults now, and my mom still calls her every day, but only calls me when she needs something. I've stopped chasing her approval, but it still hurts.
Is she the baby or is she the middle child?
She didn't say, but I wanted to touch base on this one because I I kind of get it. I used
So, so here's the thing with siblings. Your firstborn gets attention. The middle child doesn't get much attention at all because they're the middle child. And the baby gets all the attention when
mhm.
the baby's born. So, and it all depends on how many years apart. So, if her sister's getting all the attention, I'm going to go with the sister is the baby of the family.
And that's what I was going to say because Anne
Most
would always
parents,
say,
mhm,
I got the attention and I'm the favorite and I'm the youngest.
she thinks
So
she's the favorite, when actually the grandkids are the favorite.
I'm the favorite.
Theo's the favorite.
You have
He's the favorite 6-year-old. Now, don't forget that.
a lot of favorite grandchildren. And now you have a favorite great grandbaby,
Hmm.
little bean. Um All right. Well, I personally want to thank you for coming on to the podcast. I know sometimes it's not easy, it's hard, it's uncomfortable. So I appreciate you being here. Um, everyone, I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about me. My mom always has stories to tell about me, but now it kind of gives you guys an
I got a lot.
insight. It kind of gives you guys an insight of why I am who I am, what I went through, um, and the support I had, and why I highly talk about my mom and my dad and family relationships. Guys, this is Nala. Um,
I Nala.
um, she's my baby. But I just want to thank you guys for joining us. I will be back next week. I will have Heather with me again. She was with us previously. And I hope you guys have a wonderful time. And I will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.
Love you. Love you, baby.
Love you too, Mom.